you ever felt nervous paying a bill in English because you weren't sure what the cashier said?
Maybe you heard phrases like cash or card, split the payment, or your balance is due, and suddenly your mind went blank. Don't worry.
Today, we're practicing a very real and useful English conversation that can help you feel much more confident the next time you need to pay for something in English.
That's right. Paying bills is something we all do regularly, whether it's at a restaurant, online, at the bank, or even when paying utilities like electricity or internet.
These conversations are often fast, and that can feel stressful for English learners. All right, let's begin today's conversation.
So, Anna, what are we talking about today exactly?
Today we're practicing English for paying bills. We'll cover different situations like paying at a restaurant, paying rent online, discussing utility bills, and even asking questions when something seems incorrect.
That sounds really practical because these are situations people face all the time.
Exactly. Let's jump right into the conversation.
So imagine this. I just finished having dinner at a restaurant with some friends, and now the server brings the bill to the table.
All right, I'm ready.
Excuse me, whenever you're ready, here's the check.
Thank you. Let me take a look for a second. Everything looks correct.
Would you like to pay together or separately?
Could we split the bill, please?
Of course. How many ways would you like to split it?
Just 2 ways.
No problem. I'll be right back with the updated receipts.
That phrase, split the bill, is really common in English-speaking countries. It simply means each person pays for their own part of the total cost.
Exactly. And another common phrase is separate checks. Some people say, "Can we get separate checks?" That means the same thing.
A lot of English learners understand the word bill, but sometimes they get confused between bill, check, and receipt.
That's true. In restaurants in American English, people often say check instead of bill. The receipt is the paper you receive after paying.
That makes sense.
A few minutes later, I return with the payment machine.
All right, I'll pay by card.
You can tap your card right here whenever you're ready.
Done.
Perfect. Would you like a printed receipt or an email receipt?
A printed receipt is fine, thank you.
You're all set. Have a great evening.
Thank you, you too.
That interaction was pretty smooth and simple.
Yes, but many learners feel nervous because these conversations happen quickly.
Especially when the cashier asks unexpected questions.
Exactly. Sometimes people panic when they hear debit or credit.
That's a very common question in stores and restaurants.
Leo, what's the difference between debit and credit exactly?
A debit card uses money directly from your bank account, while a credit card lets you borrow money temporarily from the bank.
That explanation is very useful for learners who are new to these financial terms.
Now we'll move to another situation. This time you're at home trying to pay your electricity bill online.
Unfortunately, that's something adults need to do regularly.
Very true. All right, let's continue.
I'm looking at the electricity company's website, but honestly, the payment page is a little confusing.
What part seems confusing?
It says minimum payment due and current balance. I'm not completely sure about the difference.
Good question. Your current balance is the total amount you owe right now. The minimum payment due is the smallest amount you can pay to avoid late fees or penalties.
I see, so paying only the minimum keeps the account active, but the remaining balance still stays there.
Exactly right.
There's also a section that says payment processing may take up to 3 business days.
That means the payment might not appear immediately in the system. Sometimes banks need a little time to complete transactions.
That's a useful phrase too, processing payment.
Yes, if someone says your payment is still processing, it means the system is still completing the transaction.
Okay, I'm entering my card information now. And done.
Be careful when entering payment information online. It's always important to use secure websites.
Definitely. All right, now I'm clicking Submit Payment.
And what does the screen say?
It says Payment Successful. That's always nice to see.
Absolutely. Nobody wants to see an error message after entering all that information.
That's so true.
Actually, error messages can create stressful situations for English learners too.
Yes, because sometimes the language sounds very technical.
For example, you might see messages like transaction declined or insufficient funds.
Can you explain insufficient funds?
Of course, insufficient funds means there isn't enough money in the bank account to complete the payment.
That's an important phrase to know because it appears very often in banking situations.
Exactly.
Now let's imagine another situation. This time, I receive a phone call from my internet company because my payment is late.
That can definitely happen. All right, let's practice it.
Hello, this is Anna speaking.
Hello, Anna. I'm calling from BrightNet Internet Services regarding your account. Our records show that your latest payment hasn't been received yet.
Oh, really? I thought I already paid it last week.
Let me double-check the account. Could you confirm your account number, please?
Sure, it's 458-9217.
Thank you. One moment, please. All right, I can see the issue now. The payment was submitted, but it hasn't finished processing yet.
Oh, understood. So the payment isn't actually missing.
Correct. It should appear in the system within the next 2 business days.
That's a relief. I was worried there might be a late fee.
At the moment, there's no late fee on your account.
Great. Thank you for checking.
No problem at all. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
Actually, yes. I'd like to set up automatic payments for future bills.
That's a good idea. Automatic payments help make sure bills are paid on time every month.
Exactly. Sometimes life gets busy and it's easy to forget payment dates.
I completely agree.
Many English learners also struggle with understanding dates when discussing bills.
That's true, because companies often say things like payment due date or billing cycle.
Could you explain billing cycle?
Of course, a billing cycle is the regular period of time between bills. For example, many utility companies send bills once every month.
That explanation is very clear.
Thanks.
Now let's practice another realistic situation. Imagine I'm reviewing my monthly bank statement and I notice a charge that looks unfamiliar.
That situation can feel stressful even in your native language.
Definitely. All right, let's continue.
Thank you for calling customer support. How may I assist you today?
Hi, I'm reviewing my bank statement and I noticed a charge that I don't recognize.
I understand. Could you tell me the date and amount of the transaction?
Yes, it was on May 12th and the amount was $87.40.
All right, let me investigate that transaction. Please hold for a moment.
Sure.
Thank you for waiting. According to our records, the charge came from an online subscription service. Does that sound familiar?
Could you repeat that slowly, please?
Of course. The charge came from an online subscription service.
Oh, I see now. I think I forgot to cancel a free trial.
That happens more often than you think.
I'm glad we included that clarification moment because asking someone to repeat information is completely normal in real life.
Absolutely. Learners sometimes feel embarrassed asking people to repeat themselves, but native speakers do it too.
Exactly. Useful phrases include, "Could you repeat that, please?" "Could you speak a little more slowly?" Or, "I didn't quite catch that."
Those phrases can make conversations much less stressful.
Now, let's continue with the bank call.
Would you like me to help you cancel the subscription payment?
Yes, please. That would be helpful.
No problem. I can also dispute the charge if necessary.
What does dispute the charge mean?
Good question. It means officially reporting that you believe a payment might be incorrect or unauthorized.
That's another useful financial phrase.
Definitely. Financial vocabulary can sound intimidating at first, but once you hear these expressions a few times, they become much easier to understand.
I agree. Repetition really helps with language learning.
Now, let's switch to another common situation. Paying rent.
Ah, yes, one of the biggest monthly bills for many people.
Exactly. So imagine you're talking to your landlord about rent payment.
All right, let's practice.
Hi, Anna. I just wanted to remind you that rent is due tomorrow.
Thanks for the reminder. I'll transfer the payment tonight.
Perfect. Please let me know once the transfer is complete.
Actually, I had a quick question. Is it possible to pay through a banking app instead of a wire transfer?
Yes, that's completely fine. Many tenants prefer mobile banking apps these days because they're faster and easier.
That's convenient.
Just make sure you include your apartment number in the payment note.
Understood. That way the payment can be identified correctly.
Exactly.
A lot of these conversations are really about confirming information clearly.
Yes, because money-related situations require accuracy.
That's true. People want to avoid misunderstandings when payments are involved.
Definitely.
Let's do one more scenario. This time, we're at a coffee shop and the payment machine asks about tipping.
That's something many English learners notice when visiting the United States.
Exactly. All right, let's continue.
Your total today is $6.80. The screen will ask a quick question before payment.
Okay. Oh, it's asking about a tip percentage.
Yes, in many places, customers can choose to leave a tip for service workers.
I see options for 15%, 20%, and custom amount.
That's very common.
Sometimes learners feel uncomfortable because they don't know what's socially expected.
That's understandable. Tipping culture can be different depending on the country.
Exactly. And it's okay to politely ask questions if you're unsure.
Absolutely. Communication is always better than silently feeling confused.
That's such an important point for language learners.
I agree.
You know, something interesting about bill payments is that even short conversations require confidence.
Yes, because the conversations are quick and people behind you may be waiting in line.
That pressure can make learners nervous.
But practicing realistic conversations helps build automatic responses.
Exactly. When you repeatedly hear phrases like cash or card, payment approved, or would you like a receipt, your brain starts recognizing them naturally.
And over time, you stop translating everything word by word.
That's when speaking becomes much more comfortable and natural.
I completely agree.
Before we finish, let's quickly review some very useful expressions from today's conversation.
Great idea.
Split the bill means dividing the payment between people.
Insufficient funds means there isn't enough money available in the account.
Payment processing means the system is still completing the transaction.
Due date is the deadline for payment.
And dispute a charge means reporting a payment that seems incorrect or suspicious.
Those are all very practical expressions you can hear in everyday English.
And remember, you don't need perfect English to handle these situations successfully.
Not at all. Clear communication matters much more than perfect grammar.
You can speak slowly, you can ask questions, you can ask people to repeat information.
Exactly. Most people are happy to help when they see you're making an effort.
And every conversation you practice helps build more confidence for the next one.
That's one of the best parts of learning a language. Progress happens little by little through real situations.
And paying bills is definitely one of those real-life situations everyone eventually experiences.
Very true.
All right, everyone, that brings us to the end of today's English conversation practice about paying bills in English. We hope this lesson helped you feel more comfortable with financial vocabulary and everyday payment situations.
If you enjoyed practicing with us today, please like the video and subscribe to the English Talk channel. Your support truly helps the channel grow and allows us to continue creating more practical English conversations for learners everywhere.
And don't worry if you didn't understand every single word the first time. Listening again, repeating phrases, and practicing regularly are all part of the learning process.
Keep practicing, keep speaking, and most importantly, keep building your confidence little by little every day.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today.
We'll see you again very soon in the next English conversation practice.
Goodbye, everyone, and happy learning.